Kakao is dangling the dividend carrot before shareholders. Will it work? 15 to 20% of free cash flows?
Well, basically, I mean, internet companies' dividend yield is not really the flavor that investors are looking for. But on the other hand, they have agenda to restore some of the trust that they have actually betrayed, for especially to retail investors. So it does send the right signal, along with some of the other commitments that they've made over the past several days. So it will help the sentiment. Obviously, it doesn't really move the needle in terms of the potential valuation gains that you get from the dividend yield.
Right, but how do you see the story unfolding for Kakao Group, and what is your top bet here? Where do you think they'd be able to gain more traction from a business perspective coming out of this pandemic?
Well, they do still have a runway for growth in terms of the advertising, e-commerce, and overseas media content. It's just that when it comes to kind of delivering the message of growth, to the stakeholders, that's something that is more pertinent and demanding, getting a lot of attention to and act there. But in terms of the fundamentals that delivers the revenue growth, then and the advertising company have guided strong. They have a good run rate for growth in terms of e-commerce, and as well as in the overseas market, media content has a growth headroom there as well.
Do you think this split and list approach by a lot of companies in South Korea that we've been seeing over the last year or two coming to an end, perhaps with so much criticism coming from the small shareholders? And do you think that's going to be really the story for the remainder of Kakao franchises that were waiting for their IPO moments?
Right. It might actually delay some of these IPOs, given the sentiment amongst the media, retail investors, and regulators. But on the other hand, their business outlook, the growth outlook, the execution, all of that is still pretty much healthy. So we do believe that some of the discussions surrounding the timing is also that not a lot of these companies actually do need to require a lot of capital at this moment. Then they will actually try to better time some of these IPOs, depending on the perception, as well as discussion with the regulations, as well as discussion with the existing investors as well. So it's unlikely that we're going to see the high-paced IPOs that we have seen from some of their subsidiaries that for the past 2 years. But going forward, what we have left is entertainment, Kakao Mobility, and their cryptocurrency-related businesses might actually take a longer time for these IPOs to come through in the market.